Right, so if I seriously want to go through with more Grisaia, likely I'm going to want to just hold off on at least long DDLC mods. But first things first, I'm going to ensure I'm getting onto Sachi's route. So first things first, I need to just load the right save, and I'm like 99.9% sure it's this one. Okay, can I read the choices again? My mouse sort of just clicked on its own, so what were the choices again? I'm guessing this would just lead you to Michiru's choice or something, right? Can I just hit skip? So I'm gonna guess that's the choice I made already, to just go and see the other character routes and whatnot. So if Michiru's route shows back up, then I'll know for sure, like, I'm not getting on Sachi's. Have you seen Michiru recently? Yada yada. I'm guessing this is still, like, more the main route. Yeah, there's the cat. Who I eventually come to know as Meow Mel, and I'm assuming that that choice gets you on Michiru's route, and this one will not have you be on Michiru's route, so... Alright, praise Sachi it is. Yeah, they were playing some stupid word game where they just had to substitute, like, one letter for another letter, and just talk like that. Carry on a conversation where, for example, I don't know, every instance of the letter D in a word would be replaced by, I don't know, a K or something. And they would just add more and more of these, like, this letter gets replaced by this other letter. They would just keep on adding those, and whoever, like, makes a mistake or hesitates too long to carry on their conversation would lose. And I assume this will get me on Sachi's route. Alright, fine. I don't have any problem with praising you if that's what you want. Yeah. Defeating me in a match is worthy of recognition, and it's only natural to praise someone who really deserves it. I think someone might have told me the exact same thing a long time ago. What's wrong? Did I say something strange? No, it's nothing. Thank you very much. Sachi responds to my question with unusual haste, then bows deeply for a moment as if to collect herself. So as for the details, what kind of praising are you looking for specifically? I'll leave that entirely to you, Kazami-san. 100% Kazami style will suit me just fine. That's quite the vague request. I draw close to Sachi and reach out my hand toward her head. Would it be alright if we dim the lights first? What? Well, this slow build up to the main event has left me somewhat tense. If possible, I'd like to have the room dark. Normally, Sachi can strip off her clothes in public without a hint of embarrassment, but the moment of rare pink blush just spread across her face. Just for future reference, that sort of line should only be used when you're getting in bed with someone. I gently shoot down Sachi's feeble entreaty and place my hand on top of her head. You beat me fair and square. Pretty amazing work. This has to be the first time I've touched Sachi's head, and yet the feeling of her hair under my hand is oddly pleasant. There's even something vaguely nostalgic about the situation. Very nicely done. Sachi went stiff as a board at first, but soon closed her eyes in apparent pleasure. As her body relaxed underneath my hand, I began to slowly pet her head. Right, left, right. Every time my hand moves, little bits of gibberish dribble from Sachi's mouth. It's kind of amusing to watch. I'm really not doing it that forcefully. Sachi sways back and forth helplessly at time with the gentle movements of my hand. This is another first for us, but for some reason the motion comes naturally to me. Thank you very much, I'm fully satisfied. Right. Snapping out of the sound of Sachi's voice, I quickly draw back my hand. I think I ended up going at her head for a relatively long period of time without even realizing it. And for some reason she's currently staring intensely at my hand. So how was it? Did the pit of your stomach get warm again? It did indeed, Kazami-san. Does your hand emit some sort of negative ions, perhaps? It's quite mysterious. In typical Sachi style, the girl asks this question with a perfectly straight face. If so, I'd have to see about selling off the technology to some manufacturer of home appliances. Sounds exactly like the sort of feature the gullible housewives of the world would love to have on their toasters. In that case, I'll be forced to purchase the manufacturer that obtains the rights. You have that kind of scratch lying around? No, I can't say that I do. Not surprising. I guess they should do it for my penalty? Yes, good job, Kazami-san. Sachi offers me an enthusiastic thumbs up. Also, if it's alright with you, of course. If you could continue to praise me from time to time, I'd be very happy. I suppose. I wasn't really planning to cut off your compliments in the first place. If you act in a way worthy of recognition again, I guess I'll probably praise you again. Thank you very much. I thought my response kind of brusque, if anything, but Sachi blushes the same shade of pink as before and offers me a bow of thanks. That said, if we happen to duel again, I fully intend to win. In that case, I will immediately head to the mountains alone and devote myself to an ascetic training regimen. That's your prerogative, but don't forget to attend class, alright? Wait, come to think of it, you're right. My responsibilities as a student have completely slipped my mind. The thing about Sachi is, you know this isn't a joke. She genuinely did forget. In any case, I've learned something from the time I spent with this honest girl today. The act of praising someone, the sensation of petting their head. I've been making a habit of rustling Makina's hair around lately, but somehow this felt different. Exactly what that feeling was remains unclear to me, but whatever it was, for some reason I enjoyed it. I guess Makina's games aren't all bad. Somehow those have become my honest thoughts on the matter. As the second recess period of the day begins, a highly suspicious ritual unfolds before my eyes. Hey Sakaki, our classmate seems to be using her twin tails as antennas in an attempt to intercept human brainwaves. Hardly anything out of the ordinary, is that? Well, maybe not, but that strikes me as a problem in its own right. Paparappa, did you call Michiru-sama? Completely indifferent to our whispers, Michiru finishes chanting her incantation. A powerful Jin promptly answers the call. Oh, so she's the spirit of the lamp now, huh? That's the idea. Thought I was about time to introduce a little variety into the way I ask Sachi for favors. Is that really necessary? Of course it is. I spent 2 whole hours yesterday rehearsing to pull off that ritual perfectly for your information. Although the majority of that time consisted of Michiru-sama watching an anime DVD she was using as reference material. You don't say. Okay then, Sachi, got any face lotion lying around? I'm fairly sure I added some to my inventory after Amane-san's makeup lesson. As soon as she understands Michiru's request, Sachi trots off to our oversized storage locker in the back of the classroom. This is what you wanted, yes? Yep, thanks. Alright, while you're at it, have a puff or anything? You know, the ones you go puff with? Well, yes, I suppose I do, but I'm not entirely sure they'll satisfy your requirements. Puff. I see. One could very well get lost between those modest but marshmallowy memories. Okay, no, I'm not asking for a little of the old puff. I need an actual puff, like one made of cotton. So that's what you mean. Homonyms are troublesome things indeed. Oh no, I'm pretty sure you're the only person in the world who would have trouble with that one. Somebody asked Sachi for a favor, leading to a subtle but bizarre misinterpretation. In the end, someone heaves an exasperated sigh. This too is hardly anything out of the ordinary. I've seen this something of the sort so many times since coming to this school that it's practically part of the scenery by now. But when you stop and think about it. What you brooding about, my son? I'm not brooding, also I'm not your son. But your back looked like it was crying, you know? I suppose you could compare heavy sweat soaking through the back of your shirt to crying, but I'm not currently perspirating. Sorry to derail this fascinating discussion, but Yushi, you had your eyes on Sachin just now, am I right? I don't mind you butting into the conversation, but do me a favor and keep your tits to yourself. I was hoping you'd be too lost in thought to put up a fight. If you want to take me by surprise, you're going to need more dramatic measures. I'd recommend knocking me unconscious, maybe sleeping pills or something of the sort. I hadn't even thought of that. Of course, if she actually tried mixing some drug into my food, I'm confident I'd notice 8 times out of 10. But anyway, why are you watching Sachin? Just thinking about how familiar that routine of hers is by now. Yeah, I'm a little ashamed to hear you say that. Why's that? We got a little spoiled because Sachin's so earnest and reliable. From a neutral perspective, it might seem like we treat her pretty terribly, right? But I want you to understand that none of us mean it that way at all. Yeah, personally, Sachin's my favorite playmate. And even Chirichiru's super good buds with her. So you're saying that faithful servant routine's an expression of friendship or something? I think you can probably tell from watching, but Sachin doesn't dislike it at all, you know? Well, I guess not. Compared to the others, Michiru tends to request menial gopher-style errands pretty frequently, but Sachi never shows any sign of irritation. On the contrary, she often overflows with gratitude, as if being given work offers her satisfaction in itself. But objectively speaking, a charitable attitude that extreme has to be considered abnormal. Pretty interesting girl in that sense. Hold on a second, Yuji? Are you interested in... I see where you're going with this, but that's not what I meant. Okay then. But still, Komine Sachi, eh? Did you call, Kasami-san? Impressive job picking up on my muttering, but no, I did not. Is that so? Sorry about that. Please don't concern yourself. I understand it's very common for teenage boys to mumble the name of girls who arouse their sexual interest. Don't lump me together with pure-hearted youths who can find joy in a crumpled old porn mag discovered under the boardwalk. Very well, if you say so, Kazami-san. I won't do so again. Right then. This is strange as well. When I offer a retort to some weird statement of Sachi's, she'll fully accept my rebuke, basically overriding her previous opinion. True, she often mumbles something like, "Is that so?" first, but that's nothing more than a rhetorical question or request for clarification, not an attempt to argue. Roughly speaking, Sachi's response to her orders run along a fixed course from confirmation to consent and finally implementation. But Sachi's definitely gotten a little weirder than she was before. You think so too, Michiru? I mean, come on. Sure, she always had her eccentric side, but she wasn't coming to school in her underwear or anything. So what brought on the change? Oh, please, don't even try to play dumb. There's only one possible answer. Indeed. The two nod to each other and 4 narrowed eyes focus on my face. While counting a certain somebody who's begun to stare contemptuously in my direction without even lifting her chin from her hand, I guess that's actually 6. Sorry, but passionate gazes aren't going to get you what you want. Try flowers and a box of chocolates. And of all people, it had to be a guy like this. Seriously, that one made me even wince a little bit. In short, they want to say this is my fault. Then again, I'm the first male student in this school. In that sense, I'm acting as a foreign element added to a relatively stable mixture. Since Sachi's been forced to adjust to living in a dorm with me, I guess some changes in her behavior and attitude wouldn't be surprising. I want to know my role in this. Oh, a pretty admirable admission by your standards, Oni-chan. Newcomers have to keep their heads down, after all. A little late for that now. I feel like I heard a cranky spirit griping about something in the corner of the classroom, but I'm gonna say I was just hearing things. But precisely because I'm a newcomer, there's a specific aspect of our class representative's behavior I'm beginning to wonder about. I have to say though, I've been here a couple months now, but I haven't seen Sachi refuse a request even once. The instant I put my observation into words, Amane's eyes open wide in shock. To rephrase, it seems like Sachi's dictionary doesn't include the word impossible. I didn't mean anything else by it. Sorry, I do understand what you're trying to say, but... Come to think of it, I wonder if Sachin's ever turned down someone who asked her for a favor. What, you haven't seen it happen either, Amane? I don't think I have. Hey Makina, have you ever seen Sachin say no to someone? Sachin shoot someone down? Don't think so. Okay then, how about you, Chirichiru? You ever seen Sachin refuse a request? Huh? Come on, use some common sense, of course I haven't. Even Mishuru seems to have provided the largest volume of requests by a significant margin. Okay then, Yumiko, what about you? You were at the school from the start, so I'm sure you've seen it happen at least once, right? Komine-san came here after you. I haven't known her any longer than you have. So you're saying... I've never seen it happen either. In other words, despite living in close proximity to her for more than half a year, none of you have ever seen Sachi say no? Hold on a second, if that's true, isn't that kind of amazing? It's crazy! Just who is this Sachin in our midst? Makina's reaction is actually pretty understandable, even if by some chance everyone's forgotten an occasion or two where Sachi did say no. This strong consensus must mean she's gone along with her request an overwhelming majority of the time. Usually, you would only expect from that kind of self-sacrifice from the Holy Mother reincarnate or a very well-trained soldier. By any chance, am I the topic of the discussion? Calling it a discussion might be a bit of an overstatement, but... in summary, we've concluded that Sachin's an easy girl who'd do the dirty with anyone who asks. Not even close! Ouch! If you hit me that hard, liquefied brains are gonna start leaking out of my ears, you know? Come on now, we've got a fraidy cat in the room, so cut back on the gruesome. Yeesh. Okay, moving on, I got one question I want to ask you, Sachi. Can you remember refusing any request since you came to this school, even one? Let's see. What's going on here? Did someone flip your power switch? My apologies. I was just searching my memory, but from what I can recall, I don't believe such an event has taken place during my time here. So you seriously? Not even once all this time? You seriously ain't refused a single one of her gazillion demands? I'm touched, deeply touched. Thanks for everything you do, Sachi. Seriously, no kidding. You're a class rep among class reps, little lady. Mitra and the others abruptly swarm around Sachi, surprised and enthusiastic to discover such an impressive feat so close at hand. They resembled nothing so much as an eccentric soccer team, mobbing a defender for scoring the come-from-behind goal in extra time. On the other hand, the hero in question doesn't quite seem to understand why she's getting the star treatment all of a sudden. You can practically see the question marks floating above her head. I mean, I guess if you're playing the visual novel, you literally do see the question marks. Bit late in the game, but it seems they finally take a note of your meritorious service, Sachi. My meritorious service, is it? Right, you're actually pretty amazing, you know that? In some ways, I think you're more of a maid than most actual maids could ever hope to be. Is that so? I mean, come on, the other day I just gave you this vague description of the cover art and you still got me the CD I wanted. On that occasion, I posted on a website where you can ask many different kinds of questions. A kind individual told me the name of the album and directed me to a place I could purchase it. The Yahoo Bag of Wisdom? It's Yahoo, right? When I mumbled about wanting to try some authentic regional koshiakari rice, he brought me some the very next day, and it was fresh, pre-packaged stuff too. It was roughly an hour and 45-minute trip on the Jotsu bullet train, but fortunately I was able to obtain some directly from a local farmer. His name was Kobayashi, incidentally. If it took an hour 45 to get there, we're practically talking about the Shuetsu rice-growing region. Girl must have been wandering around way out in the sticks. How'd you get your hands on that limited edition zombie game from overseas? I found an unopened box on the foreign auction site. eBay. You went that far? I suppose so, yes, but it's not as though I was doing anything particularly special myself. Apparently Sachi's finally caught on to the fact she's being praised, as her cheeks have grown slightly red. She did mention that Amani and Michiru haven't been complimenting her as much as they used to, so this sudden barrage of appreciation might be fairly enjoyable. Nothing particularly special, huh? True, our community is small scale and relatively isolated from the outside world, but she's offered her help to everyone here quite literally without fail. That alone would be pretty remarkable by almost any standard, but Sachi seems to be completely oblivious to this fact. Of course, when you hear never once, I think it's only human nature to feel a little interest in seeing the streak broken. I guess it might go without saying, but the laundry facilities in our dormitory are pretty high class. The machines are state-of-the-art combination washer-dryer, so as long as you can handle pushing a button, it's pretty much automatic. My attitude toward housework has always been indifferent at best, but these things still make my life noticeably easier. For example, I'm currently heading to the 3rd floor secure in the knowledge I can get my laundry more or less taken care of in the time it takes my rice to cook. Spin, spin, the drum spins round as the earth spins round. And as I watch my eyes spin round, wee-yah-hee. Wee-yah-hee. But when I reach the top of the stairs, I find Sachi in front of the machine singing a funky avant-garde tune to herself as the laundry tumbles around inside. If you've lost your way in life, I'll lend an ear to your troubles. If anything, the most troubling problem currently facing me is attempting to decipher the meaning of your words, Kazami-san. What was with the song just now? That's a little number called Washing Clean the Soul, A Maiden's Heart Needs No Detergent. Lyrics and composition, Irisu Makina. Arrangement, Suo Amane. Oh, Makina wrote that? Neat. I see, understood. I'll buy that. The only people I can picture coming up with a song like that are drunken office workers lying around a train station at 2:30 in the morning, and B, Irisu Makina. Incidentally, my laundry today consists of 2 pairs of underwear and 2 maid uniforms. And you're telling me this why? Perhaps it was presumptuous of me, but Kazami-san, I believe I detected a distinct gleam of curiosity in your eyes. I appreciate the thought, but that was your mistake. I do apologize. Considering your skills, I'm sure you're quite capable of determining the spinning drum's contents from a glance across the room. Sachi, my friend, I'm genuinely curious. Just what kind of skills do you think I've been developing? Let's just change the subject. Since you're up here watching your laundry, I guess you already ate dinner? After completing my laundry and taking a bath, I'll be ready to end my day. I see. A wholesome rhythm of life you got there. Very much the model student. Incidentally, have you eaten as well, Kazami-san? No, not yet. Why? I've heard that it's healthiest to finish your supper before 9 PM. Apparently it's harder to gain weight that way, yes. You were already aware? Knowledgeable as always, Kazami-san. More importantly, Sachi, what can I do for you? Can I go ahead and smack you at this point? In theory, I don't dislike the rough approach, but personally, I'd prefer if we took things a little more gently at first. Once again, I find myself wondering whether you're even a human being. That's very strange indeed, I wonder why. Take a look at yourself and think about it, specifically what you're wearing. I'm currently in my underwear. Yes, you are. Tell me, are you the type who finds sexual excitement in exposing yourself in front of other people? No, I'm not. Then why did you take off your clothes? Because I'm planning to take a bath in the immediate future. I see, this room's right next to the grand bath, so you're trying to make efficient use of the time spent waiting for your laundry? You were as perceptive as always. That said, efficiency isn't really enough of a reason to justify this personal strip show. But should I even bother trying to explain that to her? Would you like to join me? In what, your flashy enthusiast club? No, I'm talking about the bath. Well, I believe I've just received an unambiguous invitation to take a bath with a classmate of the opposite gender. But as I understand it, for men and women beyond the age of puberty, such an act requires either a financial transaction or a certain degree of pre-existing intimacy. Sachi and I are merely classmates. We're not in a relationship and we're not blood-related siblings. I want to think it's natural for me to feel a little dubious here. That's to say, if it's alright with you, Kazami-san. Let's see. I don't find the idea particularly objectionable, and I'll pass this time. I see. For one thing, I'm currently in the middle of making dinner. Very impressive, so you scheduled this visit in order to make doubly efficient use of your time? Well, yeah, more or less. For another thing! Yeah, for another thing, I have a feeling it'd be difficult to make up an excuse if one of the others walked in on us. In that case, let's postpone until a more opportune moment presents itself. Yeah, sounds about right. Enjoy the bath. Certainly. Please do enjoy your meal as well, Kasami-san. I'm sure visions of my naked body will add a pleasant spice to your food. Oh, I'm sure they will. Maybe a smack upside the head would have been best after all. Looks like it's about time. After quickly double-checking the clock on the wall, I leave my room. When I reach the 3rd floor, I find the laundry room empty. Of course, since there's only 6 boarders in this dormitory, that's hardly unusual in itself, but... As I bend forward to retrieve my dried laundry, I notice something slightly odd about this picture. Sachi had left her laundry in the machine? These machines take approximately 70 minutes to wash and dry a load of clothing. When Sachi headed off to take her bath, the display on her machine read somewhere around 15 minutes. In other words, it's been sitting here ready for nearly an hour. My master once told me young women love their long-ass bath, but 70 minutes is a little much. And it's hard to believe Sachi would have returned without taking her laundry, especially since we were just talking about efficiency. Above all else, I don't think I've ever seen her leave a job so sloppily unfinished before. Something feels wrong about this. Even if Sachi really is just taking a long soak, it shouldn't be a problem if I call out to her through the door. When I make my way into the changing room, Sachi's slippers quickly catch my eye. Hard to picture her wandering off barefoot for no good reason, which would mean... Sachi, it's me, are you in there? I try calling out from near the door, but there's no response. I can't make out the sound of running water either, so it doesn't seem like she's in the middle of a shower. In that case, I think immediate action's called for. Sachi, if you're in here, respond. This time I shout Sachi's name loudly, but there's still nothing that sounds like a reply. What's that? When I give the room a careful survey, I notice a small head poking out of the water next to the far window. 2405. 2407. And she's mumbling quietly to herself, counting something? Puzzled, I approach Sachi along the edge of the bath. A few meters away, I finally notice her eyes aren't open. Sachi? The instant I understand that Sachi is muttering deliriously, I reach into the warm water and pull her out of the bath. 2,412. 2,413. Her expression blank and vacant, Sachi continues to mumble a string of numbers. From The Simpsons, it seems fairly clear that she fainted from overly long exposure to the sauna-like temperature. I think an emergency rest and recovery period is in order. With that decided, I haul Sachi's naked body out of the bathroom and then carefully carry her down the stairs to the 2nd floor. Excuse me, coming in. In consideration of the room's owner, I give approximately half a second advance notice before barging in. Not waiting for permission, I set Sachi down on the bed. What? Yuji? What? You brought a woman and she's naked?! Sorry, but there's no time to argue right now. Could you get me a bag of ice and a wash bowl sooner rather than later? A bag of ice and a... Right, got it. Quickly grasping the nature of the situation, Amane runs off to the bathroom without any further questions. Seems bringing Sachi here was the right call. About 15 minutes after I brought her to Amane's room, Sachi's breathing settles into the soft, regular rhythm of sleep. I think I roughly understand the situation, but would you be so kind as to give me a quick explanation of what happened here? Long story short, Sachi fainted in the grand bath and I found her there. And then you carried her to my room? I figured you'd be the most reliable by far in this sort of situation. Darn, when you feed me a line like that all casually, I can't even get angry. You can't die! Don't go to the light! Makina, she's not feeling well, so keep it down. Yes. Apparently even Makina can realize it's not an appropriate time for the usual song and dance. She accepts Amane's warning and quietly plops herself down at Sachi's bedside. So what stage is Sachi in serious carcinoma? She doesn't have cancer. She just got lightheaded from staying in the bath for too long. Phew. That's a load off my mind. But she's never done anything like this before. Why now all of a sudden? She seemed to be counting something in there. I'd expect someone to put a strange idea in her head. Probably Michiru or... Hey there, Makina. Did you perhaps say something to Sachi? No. But just now you gulped, didn't you? Truth is, during lunch today we were talking about becoming women who can count to 10,000 in a hot bath. As the circumstances come to light, Amane heaves a heavy sigh. It's pretty clear that Sachi took Makina's hyperbole 100% literally, and interpreted it as a mandatory new part of her bathing routine. I mean, where did this weird endurance test of yours even come from? On the TV yesterday, they were going on about how modern kids are weak-willed wimps who can't even count to 100 in the bath and all that. I sort of had this nasty vision of my first boss in the real world muttering worthless sacker generation while stubbing out a cigarette in an ashtray, you know? Not a bad frame of mind, but you do know how Sachi thinks, right? I'm really sorry, you know? Since she actually offered a halfway sincere sounding apology for once. Makina seems to be feeling something surprisingly close to genuine remorse. A rare sight indeed. At some point during this exchange, Sachi opened her eyes ever so slightly. 2,414. 2,415. And in the next instant, she picks up the count exactly where she left off. Like some sort of human time bomb. Come on, Makina, hurry up and reset her. Gotcha! Listen up, Sachi, you don't have to count to 10,000 every single time you take a bath. Really? Forget every single time, you don't have to do that at all, it's just a bath. Come out when you feel like it, okay? Certainly. As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Sachi's eyes fall shut and their body goes totally limp. Phew. Right, I think we're okay for the time being. So, you think that's going to be enough to keep this from happening again? I can't say that with absolute certainty, but it's gotten us through plenty of similar problems before. In that case, couldn't you have done something about the way she addresses Michiru? It's kind of a special case. Michiru's tried countless times to take it back, but Sachin just won't budge an inch. It's Kiri's own stupid fault for going on and on about an absolute command and for all eternity and all that. I see. So she made an over-aggressive attempt at impressing Sachi right off the bat and it backfired spectacularly. Hoisted on her own petard, for sure! Sachin's diligence is a good thing, but it'd be nice if she could be a little more flexible every once in a while. Sachin's fine just the way she is. That over-serious and ditzy combo is hella adorable. Somehow a diligent personality doesn't feel quite sufficient as an explanation for all this. Alright then, Makina, let's make some new ice while she's resting. Roger, Captain! Energetic as always, Makina patters off to the kitchen ahead of Amane. By the way, I hear that water that's been boiled before turns into ice faster, you know? Oh right, the Mapemba effect or whatever, isn't it? Well then, Sachi's... I turn back to the bed to find the maid in question has regained consciousness. Kazami-san is standing before my eyes. Yeah, I'm Kazami Yuji, but more importantly, are you Kamine Sachi? Yes. My name is Kamine Sachi. Seems that she's recovered enough of her wits to offer coherent responses. And why am I here exactly? You lost consciousness in the Grand Bath. I found you there and brought you to Amani's room for treatment. Is that so? I do apologize for causing you such trouble. It wasn't much of an inconvenience, really. Wouldn't even qualify as trouble in my book. Is that so? My attempt at downplaying the incident seems to have been appropriate, as Sachi smiles in evident relief. It seems I fainted in front of you again. Yeah, so it seems. Answer Sachi's statement with an artificial attempt at a reassuring smile. Since I'm talking to a dazed invalid, I decided to play along. But I don't remember this ever happening before. I'm not sure where the again is coming from. She must still be pretty out of it, I guess. Oh, you woke up, Sachin? Yeah, it seems I caused you trouble as well, Maki-chan. I'm sorry. Nope, it's my fault for saying weird stuff, you know. You didn't do anything bad, Sachin. Sachi's expression grows thoughtful. She seems to be thinking back on the incident and attempting to analyze her behavior. Don't try to think too hard right now. Makana's admitting she's to blame here, so let's leave it at that. Yes, certainly. How are you feeling? I'm okay. A little dazed, that's all. I'll be fine. Get better soon so you can give me a good spanking, alright? I'll be waiting. Alright. Sachi answers Makana with a gentle smile, but by the end of the conversation I could see fine beads of sweat running down her face. Okay, that's enough talk for now. Take it easy for a while. Yes. With that short response, Sachi closes her eyes to sleep once more. Hey there, Makana? Oh? Sorry, but can you watch over Sachi for the rest of the day? Heck yeah, I've read lots of books about doctors, you know. I can handle anything from a excision right up to a triple bypass with ease. How very reassuring. Not to worry, I'll be here as well. Sorry, kinda feels like I'm pushing all the hassle onto you. Don't worry, it's fine. After all, we can't exactly have a young man look after a sick, vulnerable girl, right? You're quick on the uptake, I like that about you. As compensation, next time I get sick, maybe I'll make you nurse me back to health all day long, Has this woman already forgotten the words she literally just said? Or she simply decided that doesn't apply to her? I'll see what I can do about that. Smirking in a way more befitting a dirty old man than a young woman, Amane saunters back to the kitchen. All well and good that I got my classmate through a little crisis unscathed, but that achievement seems to have come at a considerable price. It's pretty common to hear something or other described as a microcosm of society. In particular, school is a highly popular choice. It's practically a cliche that you can judge the health of a country by the condition of its classrooms. Declining academic performance, drug abuse, all the way up to violent juvenile crime. You can interpret pretty much any schoolyard problem as a reflection of societal decay, if you want to. But even as someone who tends to look on such arguments with skepticism, it's clear to me that the malign influence of our national sign to depravity has begun to rear its ugly head in this isolated academy of ours. Whack! That's right, yell for me. Let me hear you squeal. The high school tone. Those first smacks on the bum. You're gonna make me into a naughty girl. First thing in the morning, a completely random spanking show is unfolding before my eyes. One can only grieve for the future of our nation. Yeah, the entire nation of Japan. The living standards of the entirety of Japan are gonna be on the decline because of this one spanking show. Curious to see how the others are reacting to this shameful display. I look around the classroom to find. A grimacing observer, her face all but saying, God, I thought those two were getting into some weird territory lately, but this is taking things to a whole new level of awkward. A casual observer, humming to herself as she prepares for class, who glances over briefly with an expression that reads, "Ah, so that's today's game?" And finally, an observer who feigns total disinterest even as she peeps past the book in front of her, taking every moment of the show. An intriguing, colorful range of variation. Perhaps one can interpret this as necessary stimulation to a stagnant group dynamic. Don't be freaking ridiculous. What kind of school would let a freak show like this go on in the classroom? Well, the one we're standing in, yes, very funny. Joke time is now over. Got the message? Hurry up and stop them. Pushed forward by Michiru, reluctantly initiated intervention with the pair of girls on the teacher's platform. Sachi, mind explaining this? Certainly, I'm currently giving Maki-chan a good spanking. Yes, I can see that. I'm asking you why you felt the need to do so. That would be because Maki-chan asked me for one. Makina asked for this? That's correct. She requested it specifically last night, you see? Ah. Right, when Sachi came to her senses in Amane's room. Alright. And Sachi's not really capable of recognizing that as a joke. I had an ominous premonition the moment I heard that sentence, but you really did go through with it in public, even. I made a promise after all. Maybe it felt that way to Sachi, but somehow I doubt Makina was taking it quite that seriously. But just a plain old spanking would be kind of boring, so I made up a little plot and turned it into a bit of a role-playing game, you know? A plot? That's right, we're a couple that's been living together for a year and was falling into a rut before getting totally hooked on soft S&M. Soft? Pipe down, Peanut Gallery. If you're interested, look it up on the internet in your own time. I most certainly will not! A denial this unconvincing is a rare thing in its own right. Hey, slow down. What's all this about a promise last night? Did something happen? It'd take a while to explain it in full, but I'm sure a wise young woman like yourself would have already have a rough idea of what occurred, right? What? For sure, I mean, it's me we're talking about here. Of course I do. So easy to handle. Is it? Am I really that amazing? Yes, in a bad way. In a bad way. Oh, wait. Are you actually complimenting me here or what? I said you're amazing, but did I not? For better or worse, I believe you're an exceptional individual. Oh, now I get it. She's not lying, I guess. If you say so. Even when I'm not trying, my brilliance oozes out in great gooey globs of genius. Keep it up, me! Yeah, I think amazing might be a good word to describe this aspect of Michiru. If you say so. Well, to get back to the point, I can't say I approve of putting on an early morning spanking show in the classroom. So if we do it at night with the lights turned off, it's all good? Your choice of lighting isn't the problem here. First and foremost, that's not the sort of thing you do brazenly in school now, is it? Actually, depending on the scenario, you're going to make this a lot more complicated than it needs to be, so let's skip that particular discussion. Understood. In summary, that game is off limits from now on. I might understand, but my heart just can't accept this. What a complicated feeling. Is this the bittersweet taste of forbidden love? You too, Sachi. Let's call into the spanking session, alright? Certainly. As Amanda drags Makina away by the scruff of her neck, Sachi heads obediently back to her seat, a satisfied expression on her face. Makina is clearly responsible for returning her spanking in some kind of public humiliation show, but I'm pretty sure Sachi was the one who brought up the topic in the first place. Dutifully remembering a favor that otherwise might well have been forgotten, she proactively carried it out with genuine enthusiasm. On the abstract level, Sachi sounds like a model class representative, but when you consider the specific details, it's hard to shake the feeling that something stranger is lurking behind her behavior. It might be worth seeing what the higher-ups have to say about this. And then I head to the principal's office. Having a productive day? Did your wagashi cakes complement the tea? Today was Jelly Roll Day. Since she answered my valiant attempt at small talk with a smile, Chizuru seems to be reasonably receptive to my sudden visit. Well then, what do you want from me? I assume you didn't come all the way over here just to give me sass? Right, I've got a question for you as you were principal of this academy, Chizuru. Something about Sachi, of course. I'm a little surprised you'd ask about Kamine-san. What's that supposed to mean? Doesn't mean anything really, just my honest thoughts. Alright then. So why ask about Kamine-san all of a sudden? We had a bit of an incident yesterday. Sachi stayed in the hot bath long enough that she actually fainted. And that was instigated by nothing more than an offhand comment from Makina about counting to 10,000 in the bath. I see. You don't seem particularly surprised. Is this sort of behavior a recent development? Or have you seen something of the sort before? Let's see. Nothing too bad ever came of it, but there have been several occasions where she gave me a real fright. I suppose the single biggest shock would be the time she tried to wash the outer wall of the school building during our end-of-term cleanup, by dangling from the roof on a single rope. Come to think of it, I remember someone telling me about that one. Nothing serious came of that? Fortunately, no. Once I shouted that we had contractors coming to take care of that, she pulled herself right back up and came inside. I see. Despite all the strange ideas she gets in her head, it does seem that Sachi consistently listens to reason. That's a silver lining, to be sure. Well then, now that you've asked me this, what are you planning to do about it? At the moment, I don't intend to do anything in particular. If anything, I suppose my short-term objective was just to confirm how much of the principal of the school really knows about her pupils. So this is what this is about? I don't think you need to be too concerned about that. I don't? Nope. After all, you're talking to a person who managed to get in touch with you after nothing more than a single meeting on the job, aren't you? True enough. Somehow or other, the woman I'm speaking with has been entrusted with control of Miham Academy as an organization. I suppose it's only natural it should be thoroughly familiar with the quirks of the handful of students under her supervision. Are you convinced I'm not utterly clueless now? Yeah, I've once again realized you're a fine woman. How very nice to hear. Smoothly switching our crossed legs, Chisler offers me a prototypical composed woman's smile. But anyway, since you did go out of your way to come ask me, I'm willing to disclose the extent of what I know. No, that won't be necessary. Why not? Learning more about her would only make your life here easier, don't you think? Probably true, but this isn't a job and I don't have any pressing need to know. And there aren't many people who go asking for information on a classmate, are there? A classmate, huh? Look, it still feels kind of awkward, but I'm making a conscious effort to talk about these things like a normal student. Try not to laugh. You're right, sorry about that. But in any case, I think talking yourself into it like that isn't a bad approach at all. Hope you're right. In between stretches of peace, I plunge into the extraordinary. In between periods where I devote my attention to my part-time job, I return to the ordinary. As that ratio slowly shifts, I've developed a persistent nagging discomfort with myself. And there's a part of me that doesn't even want that to change. A part of me that's uneasy about getting too used to this. Now that you become a student here, I don't expect anything specific of you. Live as a normal student exactly as you please. Enjoy your life here, that'll be enough to satisfy me. If you actually mean that, you got pretty eccentric taste in entertainment. I think you'll understand when you get to be my age, but once you get your hands on some money and status, finding new ways to relax gets to be quite a challenge. Judging from the sadly increasing quality of knickknacks in this office, I guess I can believe it. Come on, there aren't as many as all that. Even as she speaks, the principal stealthily palms a few desk toys and drops them into a drawer. This instinctive sneakiness might have something to do with how she clawed her way up the ladder. Alright, I think it's about time I headed back. I do suppose so. Try to make good use of your own free time, Kazami-kun. I've already eaten lunch if that's what you're worried about. Not talking about our lunch periods in particular, but rather your free time in general. What's that supposed to mean? It means that I'm not the only one who could use a little relaxation every once in a while. The principal winks suggestively as she speaks. Unfortunately, I don't quite follow. What does the woman want me to do? True enough, in that case, I'll kill some time trying to guess your age, Chizuru. Huh? Hey. I'm definitely younger than you're thinking, guaranteed! I retract any previous compliments I may have given you. When I return to the classroom, Sachi's eating her lunch by herself. For once, she's actually spread out a proper lunchbox, rare sight indeed. For what I've seen, Sachi almost always goes for light, efficient meals. A lunchbox today, huh? Yes, I had some leftovers from breakfast that I didn't want to go to waste. I see. For leftovers lunch, it's a pretty decent spread. At a glance, she's got an omelet with Vienna sausages, mini tomatoes, and broccoli. A colorful and well-balanced assortment. Doesn't exactly have the master housewife impression of an Amane meal, but it's fair to call it a nicely made lunch. You did cook at Michiru's request the other day, come to think of it. Are you actually something of a chef? I wouldn't say that. I can't begin to compare to the likes of Amane-san. I suppose I can manage respectively when given a clear example to work from. As if to demonstrate, Sachi pulls a cookbook out of her desk and flips it open to a photograph of an omelet. It's strikingly similar to the one in her lunchbox. No need to be modest. Making it look exactly like the book is impressive in its own right. Thank you very much. Incidentally, were you able to clear your name in regard to sneaking into the music room and playing Amane-san's flute? When did this happen? What? When a male student heads off for a secretive one-on-one meeting with the principal, I believe the topic of discussion is usually something along those lines, yes? What is it with you, Sachi? Your thoughts always run off in these unique directions. That's a rather mixed evaluation. In the first place, why would I be after Amane spit? Once the conversation comes to a pause, Sachi smoothly returns to her lunch, carrying food for her mouth with the regular rhythm of workman on an assembly line. Oh, Buzzy, hi. I'm gonna double check exactly to see how long I've been live for. I'm expecting to not really go live for that much longer than an hour at the moment. I mean, I guess at the very least, like whatever chapter I'm in, I could just play it to the end. I mean, I'm gonna likely just not stop mid-chapter. Hey, Sachi. Yeah, what can I do for you? First of all, you can chew and swallow what you got in your mouth before trying to talk. Certainly. With a small nod, Sachi wholeheartedly devotes her attention to mastication for a few moments. Thank you for your patience. Was there something you wanted to discuss, Kazami-san? I was wondering if you have some sort of regular method of letting off steam, you know, managing your stress. Stress relief, is it? Unfortunately, I don't think I can be much of help in such matters. Why not? I can't say I've felt anything like stress since entering this school. That's honestly pretty hard to swallow, but judging from Sachi's expression, I don't think she's outright lying to me. They do say that in America, where they don't really have the concept of stiff shoulders. Nobody complains of the symptoms. Maybe this is a similar case? That being the case, I think it might be better to bring your inquiry to Mitsuru-sama. Yeah, as we're starting to see, Sachi's mind does indeed work in mysterious ways. So what, does Mitsuru have some daily stress relief method? For example, just the other day... Sachi! Ah, Mitsuru-sama, why are you hiding behind the sofa like that? Shh. Mum's the word. Keep quiet and follow me to my room. Okay, so far so good. Doesn't look like we were spotted. Sorry for dragging you along all of a sudden, Sachi. Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some sort of religious thing? Then why? I get it. You don't have to keep quiet anymore. Understood. Seriously. Well then, did you need me for something? If you've got a decently sized stuffed animal lying around you don't really mind giving up, I could really use one. If you don't need any specific variety, I have a few. That's my Sachi. Okay then, pick one out and bring it over. Certainly. Personally, this bunny rabbit would be my recommendation. That's a cute one. Also, do you have a magic marker or anything? Yes, here you are. Now I just need to write on his forehead. Yuji. Okay, perfect. You plan to snuggle up to your stuffed animal, Kazami-san, and envelop yourself in illusory warmth? That's not it at all. This thing is... Yeah, it's a sandbag, okay? A sandbag? That's right, I'm going to picture this stuffed animal as Yuji and beat the heck out of it until I'm ready to hit him where it hurts at any time. It'll help with my stress too. Is that so? I believe it went something like that. The hell's wrong with that bottle blonde? If you'd like to return the favor, I could provide you with a matching bunny rabbit. No, that won't be necessary. I see. Although it's a little sad to say this myself, dropping a fancy stuffed animal in the middle of that dreary room of mine would be painfully awkward. And the idea of having a matching set of anything with Mitsuru is somehow even less appealing. Anyway, something came to mind while I was listening to all this. If you really don't relax, what do you do with your free time? Fundamentally, I try not to leave myself much in the way of free time. In other words, you're like a shark, always moving even when at rest. No, I rest in my bed in the typical manner of a modern human being. I think it would likely be easier to understand through observation rather than explanation. Well, probably so. I'm entirely willing to demonstrate as early as today if you're interested. You telling me to follow you around from morning to night? I think it would be after school until bedtime, but more or less. From what I understand, Sachi's proposal isn't problematic in terms of the school rules, but I'm a little hesitant to peep into her private life out of mere curiosity. I don't mind the slightest. Read my mind, huh? Alright, how about after class ends tomorrow? Certainly, in that case, I'll make sure to clean myself thoroughly in preparation. What are you preparing for exactly? After school tomorrow, huh? Things have taken a somewhat strange turn, but I can't deny I've gotten slightly curious about Sachi's way of life. Should be an interesting experience if nothing else. A distinctive droning sound, strikingly out of place in this quiet coastal town. Guess I got a visitor. As expected, when I head out to the school gate, genuine blonde emerges from the interior of her prancing horse. Hi, Yuji. How's kicks? Not bad as of 3 minutes ago, unfortunately. My mood just now took a nosedive. Oh, come on! Is that really the first thing you say to a woman who's bravely sallied forth to see you on her own initiative? If I was really dealing with a woman, maybe I'd be a little more careful with my words, but I was taught to be frank to the point with my superiors. As always, you can't take a joke for what it is. It's your fault for putting on that ridiculous small-mouth airhead act in the first place. I do know that you have a hard time with women like this, yes. Which makes the way you always pretend to be one downright sadistic. So what's with the sudden visit? Some urgent business come up? No, today I'm here for a little progress check, cause I'm a Yuji's guardian, you see. What? Work not keeping you busy these days? In a manner of speaking, this is work. Fine, we'll leave it at that. Experiencing any difficulties? The facility is adequate? Your money situation okay? Any sticky problems you just got? You can't talk about what girls in your class? The hell? What if I tell you I can't control my libido anymore? You going to take care of that for me? Well, sure, by giving you so much work that you're too exhausted to feel horny. Sorry, my bad. Yes, indeed it was. Make sure to answer your big sister's questions seriously the first time. I'll see what I can do. And seriously, how are you doing here? Seriously, I've got exactly no problems worth mentioning. This place is almost comically well equipped, and my allowance is more than enough for my everyday needs. I see, that's good then. You satisfied now? It's not like I was particularly worried in the first place. I know you'd contact me if necessary. Yeah, that's right. Okay then, anything else you want to talk about? What's anything else supposed to mean? For example, the neighborhood's dog's gone missing, or there's someone in your class you're interested in. Whatever you've been thinking about lately. Sorry, but why do you care? No need to overthink this, I just like to hear what's going on in your mind at the moment. After all these years, JB probably knows me better than anyone else alive. I don't think she'd ask me this question for no reason whatsoever. Alright then, let me ask your opinion on something. What would you think about someone who's never refused anyone's orders, even once? Or turned down a request for that matter? Are we talking about some sort of submission fetish here? No, we are not. I'm asking for your thoughts as my superior on this one. Let's see. It's a familiar sight. You could call it her business face. When JB switches into work mode, she's got a habit of putting that expression on like a suit of armor. If someone like that exists, my first thought would be that some sort of training was involved. Thought as much. There's more. The person in question doesn't seem to experience any stress in their daily life. That's quite enviable if true. I'm with you there. I also think it's entirely possible they're simply not aware of their stress, or somehow refusing to acknowledge it. Quite likely it's all accumulating somewhere deep inside. Even a casual gesture, like scratching your head, is a manifestation of stress. It's a fundamental part of human psychology. Exactly. So what happens when that builds up without the person in question even noticing it? I guess you could say I'm slightly concerned. I see. With that non-committal response to the line of demarcation, JB relaxed her face and lets the tension drain out of her body. I did pursue some basic intelligence about the school as part of my guardian duty, so I'm aware there are some interesting students here, but it seems as if one of them has indeed managed to pique your curiosity. Yeah. That was the reason I confirmed my impressions with Chizuru as well. If I'm not wrong about this, then... I must say that's something of a relief. What is? That you'd ask me a question like that, Yuji. I just tried to give you what you wanted to hear. Even so, a few months ago, would you have come up with anything? Usually I'd expect a nothing worth recording. Next question. Right off the bat. If that was supposed to be an invitation to me, I recommend giving up on your dream of becoming a comedian after retirement. Thanks so much for the advice. Anyway, at your age, it's only natural to be interested in girls and fashion and all that, you know? And yet the questions you bring me always smell of gunpowder rather than cologne. Can't deny it. Right? Therefore, I'm pretty sure this is a good sign. Okay, that'll about do it for a regular interview. I'll stop by again at some point. Do me a favor and give a little advance warning next time. It's bad for my heart to have beautiful women popping up out of nowhere. But wouldn't you miss the thrill? Smirking, JB slides her sunglasses back into place. With smooth, practiced movements of her hands, she steers the prancing horse away from the school. In the blink of an eye, it's disappeared into the distance. That engine never gets any less obnoxious. Out of consideration for our neighbors. Maybe I should stuff some potatoes into the muffler next time I have the chance. In any case, JB has a point. If I was still the same person who'd passively devoted himself to the job, I wouldn't have developed this kind of interest in Sachi's personal life. Quite the opposite, I'd be keeping potential trouble at arm's length. Of course, in this case, my doormate's problems might have repercussions for me, but there's definitely a part of this that can't be explained by simple self-interest. Apparently, this change in my thinking is dramatic enough to take even JB by surprise. In that sense, I guess the first problem is that I can't even tell why I'm changing. And I'm guessing this would just be like the next day here. Either end of chapter or end of day I'd play up to. Right, so where do I want to save? I could easily just save over one of the save files from like a year ago. And it'll be like no big deal. Right, we'll save here. And just leave it at this for the time being with Grisaia.